Mental illness affects thousands of Americans each year. Many are diagnosed in childhood or even adulthood. Mental illness has often been very taboo and shameful, partly because most people they don't understand mental illness. They can't understand how the mind can work the way it does. Mental illness can include anything from bipolar, it can include schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, and also it can include PTSD. Way back in the 1800s, there was a pioneer woman who made a change for the better in the treatment of mentally ill patients. Her name was Dorothy Dix. Dorothy Dix was born on April 4th in 1802 in Hampden, Maine. Her mother suffered from mental illness. Her father was an abusive alcoholic. This led to her not having a very pleasant childhood. So at the age of 12, Dorothy Dix left home to go and spend time with her grandmother and to study abroad. By the age of 14, Dorothy Dix was teaching on her own. She taught for approximately 24 years, which is half of her life. At that time, in 1841, she was asked to go and teach at Cambridge House of Corrections. She was asked to go there and teach a Sunday school class for some women inmates. She was very appalled at that time to discover conditions that were going on at the prison. She discovered that the mentally ill patients were housed in with the general population. Knowing a little about mental illness herself, knowing that her mother she had grown up with mental illness, she was appalled to find that these conditions, some were chained to walls, they were naked, half naked, they were being sexually abused, physically abused. At this time, it was a life-changing moment for her. So after 24 years of teaching, Dorothy Dix changed her career. She became an advocate for the mentally ill. In 1843, she advocated and she approached the Massachusetts legislation about the treatment and the conditions of the mentally ill. In the decades that followed, Dorothy Dix was responsible for helping to open over 120 mentally state hospitals across the United States. Her work did not stop there. She also did it abroad. She helped to open hospitals in Canada, Scotland, England, and many more countries. Probably the most famous one of her hospitals was right here in North Carolina. Everyone knows the Dorothy Dix Hospital that was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Unfortunately, that hospital closed in 2012 as another one opened. There are two mental hospitals, state hospitals in North Carolina. There's one called Cherry and there's one called Central. Miss Dorothy Dix, she died at the age of 85. And her compassion and care and empathy for the mentally ill can best be described in her own words. She once said, "If I am cold, they are cold. If I am weary, they are distressed. If I am alone, they are abandoned." Without Dorothy Dix being the pioneer and helping to pave the way for the mentally ill, I don't think that we would be as far in our advanced treatment for these individuals as we are today. So thank you to Miss Dorothy Dix.